Okay.
Hello and welcome to Real People, Real Stories, where we highlight people just like you and just like me who've had success with ASEA redox signaling molecules. I'm Kathleen Oliveri, and I'm coming to you from the state of Mississippi, where I teach at Mississippi State University, and I have been taking ASEA redox signaling molecules for quite a few years now, and it has really been very beneficial to my health. So if you're new to redox signaling molecules, let me tell you just a few things about them. Redox molecules help our cells heal from the inside. Of course, this is trick or treat night, and I just heard trick or treaters at my door, but my family's taking care of it, so I was my brain went a little bit off this way. But redox signaling molecules do help our cells heal. And that's what's so important, because when you have healthy cells, you have healthy organs, and we have more healthy bodies. And that's really what we want to do. But disclaimer, that when we are talking about ASEA redox signaling molecules this evening, we will be talking about it in terms of the personal stories that we have. It is not meant to prevent, diagnose, treat, cure any type of medical disease. So just keep that in mind. But tonight, I'm so excited for you to hear from our guest tonight, and then also from our co-host. I'm going to turn it over to our co-host, Dr. Barbie Phillips, and she will tell you a little bit about herself and also our guest.
Thank you, Kathleen. My name is Dr. Barbie Phillips, and I am from Oklahoma. So it's a little chilly here. I know it is in other parts of the state as well, or states as well. I am a chiropractor, have been for 23 years for people and animals. And I was introduced to redox by Kathleen, our host tonight, about 4 years ago, and have used redox molecules not only for myself and my family, but also animals and for my patients in my clinic. But tonight I'm going to introduce to you a special guest. Her name is Mona Mervyn, and Mona is going to be a great guest tonight. Welcome, Mona. Mona is a family organizer, a rejuvenation coach. She's a certified functional nutritional coach and also a licensed physical therapy assistant. So I am so excited to have Mona on tonight to join us and share with us some wonderful information about how redox has affected her life. So Mona, welcome. And I'm going to have you tell us a little about yourself and how you were introduced to these amazing molecules and how you're utilizing them today with your clients and yourself.
Okay, well, let's see. I was introduced by, actually, I met Leland Duck several years ago, and I tried the molecules once, and for some silly reason, I didn't stay. I was introduced as them to be a very high frequency water at that time, and I was a little confused about some things, so I didn't go ahead and use that. I had just started a business of my own, which was a CBD business. And I was still currently working, I think, as a physical therapy assistant. I actually did buy gel, and I bought the molecules, and I didn't keep the molecules, but I kept the gel. So I think I used most of it. And I really didn't know what I was looking for. And I didn't watch enough education. And so that's where I think I went wrong right there, was because I didn't watch enough of the education. So several years passed, and then another friend of mine told me about something that he was talking to somebody else about, and I wasn't sure exactly what he was talking about. But then that's when I met Jimmy, and I was actually out having a hamburger on one of the rivers, and I met Jimmy, and he wanted to come meet with me, and I invited a friend to come over. And he came and told me his miraculous story of healing, and he brought Leland on. And then whenever I spoke with Leland about what happened with his brother-in-law, that was like the icing on the cake for me. So that was just a wonderful, wonderful idea. And at that point in time in my life, I was kind of trying to figure out where I wanted to go in life. And so I thought it was a good fit. And I got started, and I did really well for a little while, and then business boomed for a while. In fact, I'm a D700. And then all of a sudden business has fallen off a little, but it's coming back up kind of slow and steady at the moment. So I'm super excited about that. So I've got several people that have got quite a few things going on, but I'm very fortunate that my quite a few people in my family use it. So I'm really excited about that and what it's doing for them. So I guess I should also say for myself, it's actually helped me to first thing I noticed as I took it for a while was that I was able to get increased range of motion in my shoulder, because I have no idea why I had decreased movement in my shoulder, but I did. When I would do yoga and try to do one of the poses on the floor, it would cause me a lot of discomfort. And so I couldn't hang from a bar with exercise because had stomach exercises that I enjoyed doing by hanging from a bar. And I couldn't do that very well because it was uncomfortable. So first thing I noticed was that I could do that again, which that was so awesome. That might not mean a whole lot to anybody, but that at least means that my body was beginning to heal itself. So that was one thing that I noticed. Another thing that I noticed was that if I use the redox molecules, the vitamins and minerals, and the self-performance drinks, especially going to the gym, it made a huge difference for me. I was able to lift probably 3 times as much weight as I'd ever done before. And I've actually been doing weight training off and on since I was 18 years old, because when I was younger, I was kind of they called me Bony Moni. Does that tell you anything? I was very thin and I always wanted to play baseball. And my friends, they were avid baseball players, but I couldn't hit it very far and they kind of laughed at me. So guess who didn't play baseball very long? It was me. So there were a lot of things that I did as a kid, but as I got a little older, I had a few challenges with them. And I'm trying to get back to hopefully bodybuilding. That's what I would like to do with some of my inspiration. And so I'm big into the nutritional part of everything. So it's really helped me in that aspect. And I really appreciate the Iron Cowboy video, because that's really inspired me. And I share that with a lot of people. So that's kind of where I am.
That's great. So you mentioned that you're using it, and so is a lot of your family using it. Now, with your functional nutritional coaching, are you finding yourself using these molecules or any of the products with your clients?
Well, actually, I've even coached a couple of ASEA people because they were still having a few weird things happen and they weren't sure why. So I worked with them on some different aspects of things, and I did do that with them, as well as, yes, that's my intention. I also had a very, very dear friend that was very, very sick in the hospital, and she has one of the most amazing stories there is. So if I've got time, I'll kind of tell her story a little bit as well, because her story is awesome. She was really, really sick, and I had just started doing ASEA. And so I got her in as an associate right away, and we ordered her as much as she could afford to buy. And she was actually in the hospital at the time. So even at that particular hospital, we were very, very blessed that we had a doctor that allowed her to use some of her vitamins and minerals there in the hospital. So she was using a lot of oxygen, like 5 liters of oxygen, and it was almost more like a CPAP. She could not get off of it. And she came home still wearing oxygen, but finally able to walk and move around a little bit. And long story short, because it could be a really long story here, but she used all the ASEA products except for the self-performance drinks. At that point in time, she couldn't afford them. So she used everything else and a whole lot of minerals. And she was able to whittle herself off of almost every medication she was on. And to this day, now she does not use oxygen. So she was my first real rehab type person that did it. And it's an amazing story. And so she actually mainly uses the gel now. She's just in a situation right now where she can't financially afford it all. And hopefully someday she'll be able to come back to afford it all. But the gel is actually sustaining her at the moment. So she still tries to eat well. And that was an amazing story. So I'm really excited about that one. So, and I try to coach my family the same way, including my daughter's boyfriend. He actually has taken some of the molecules and he uses the gel some. and he likes to sell performance drinks. He has some. He goes off and on with what he wants to use at the time. So, um, let's see. I've got my youngest daughter also using it some. So I guess I'm kind of trying to coach them along as well. But
Yes.
yes, I'm hoping that ASEA will be the backbone of what I can do coaching people, and trying to help them learn what herbs and minerals do. And hopefully that will help them to accomplish their health goals without medication, if at all possible, because that's one of the things that I believe in. So I'm pretty holistic.
Great. That's great. So you mentioned you're working out, and how it's helped you with working out. Um, ASEA is great for athletes. We know, it does, help with the recovery. And even if someone's not an athlete, we know that the gel and the liquid that we drink can help with the VO2 max if we're exercising, but it also can reduce stiff muscles. Have you noticed using the gel or using the liquid, how it's helped you with recovery with your workouts?
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, when I'm in the gel, I usually start out by when I'm in the gel, when I'm in the gym using the gel, I usually go in and I put either the liquid on my hands and all over me, depending on what I have with me that day, or the gel. And then I also use it periodically at home the same way. And I've noticed that it's really helped with soreness quite a bit. There for a while, I wasn't sore at all, but I did some extra muscle workouts the other day that I hadn't done in a long time, and I was a little bit sore after that, but probably because I'm still not moving quite enough. I'm not stretching enough every day because I'm trying to really work my business and get my life organized well enough where I can really get on the bandwagon and give it a really good go. So that's kind of where I am now. So I'm really excited about using ASEA, and I'm a super big ASEA believer. So I'm trying to be the best I can be with ASEA.
That's great. That is great. Um, so, Marita, I might ask you just to turn your camera off for just a little bit right here while we're interviewing our guests, and then we'll turn it back on. Thank you. Um, so that is great. And I've been impressed because, like you said, you've been following the Iron Cowboy and we're doing your workouts and stuff. So that's really great. You should be very proud of yourself. You're a great example to others. So you're very good encouragement to others. Have you noticed with yourself or your family, we hear testimonies of people sleeping better. We hear testimonies of people having more mental focus and mental clarity. Can you tell me a little about, have you noticed any of that?
Oh, definitely. In fact, the other day I had some challenging paperwork that I needed to stay super, super focused for. And so I did energy and mind. And sometimes I do a little bit of the mood at night. I try to do it a little bit earlier in the day, but I did actually have some dreams the other day. And I usually sleep really, really hard. My husband, he usually gets up and goes to work before I get up because he's a wonderful, wonderful truck driver, and he has to sometimes get up at 2 and 3 in the morning. And
Wow.
so he got up the other morning at 3:30. He said, "You never even kissed me bye." He said, "You didn't even ask me that day had I taken my molecules." I said, "Well, we don't have to worry about that now. You've got pouches to take in your truck, so we're good with that." But I guess I was sleeping so hard I didn't even move. So he did kiss me bye, but I never moved. So thank God that he at least can do that without disturbing my sleep. But yeah, no, I've noticed that it's helped me a whole lot with all of that. So it's I like the mind, the mood. In fact, I've got a little bit of the mind now. I really like the mind a whole lot. It's got extra zinc, and I've learned a lot about minerals themselves. And I mean, even just the source is phenomenal for people to help digest their food, and it helps our body to just help itself and work so much better. So I really love using all of the products. I love the clay mask. The clay mask works wonderful. I mean, I did my testimonial this morning. Unfortunately, I got stung by I think probably a yellow jacket the other day. And while I was outside trying to relax and get focused, get a little bit of sun for a few minutes. And I just came in the house. I didn't get nervous. I just put all our products on there, and in a day it was gone. And thank God, no swelling, that negative stuff that sometimes happens with us, that it lingers, over and over again. So hopefully I don't keep having a lot of things to have too many testimonials for. I just want to get back to the basics and be able to live life to the fullest and have fun. In fact, today I've always dressed up for Halloween. So today I decided to go ahead and dress up anyway. And I wasn't sure whether I wanted to wear my costume or not, but I decided to be a fairy princess. I was originally going to be an ASEA cheerleader because I had a cheerleading outfit, but I have no idea what I did with it. So I looked and couldn't find it. So I decided to do this instead. So this one is getting back to nature.
I love it. And speaking of the princess look, do you use any of the skincare line? And if so, what do you think about that?
I do. Right now, I'm mainly using the mask and the gel. Sometimes I do use the wash as well. My skin's always been super temperamental, and it just doesn't like it when I put too much on it. So, um, I'm trying to get to where I can, but I mean, I guess that's a good thing. If I love the gel. I use the gel every day. I have for a while, so I can tell that the gel really has helped my skin with any kind of wrinkles that I have. I have a few that I'm still working on, but I've been very, very blessed with that as well. Very blessed. I mean, I thank God that I've been very blessed with good skin again. So, but I do use some of the skincare, but especially the clay mask. Oh, that clay mask, it is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. In fact, that's part of what I used on my leg the other day. I used the gel and the mask on my leg to help not have a difficult time with it. And of course, I took extra redox as well as soon as it happened. So
That's great. And one thing,
I'm hoping. Go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say the interesting thing about the clay mask, there's a lot of different clay masks out there with bentonite clay, but they don't have the redox technology. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, I looked up what the bentonite clay has in it, and it has calcium. Let's see, it has several different minerals in it. It has calcium and copper. And so that's one of the things that a lot of us are missing because whenever we have gray hair, that's one of the things that uh, requires copper. That tells us that we're lacking copper when our hair is gray. So that's one of the things that I know is good for every one of us because that's what happens to a lot of us. In fact, a lot of kids become gray at a very early age or their hair starts turning colors. And that's one of the things that, I didn't know before I became an associate and I started really studying minerals and nutrition and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, the clay mask is wonderful. It makes your skin feel great. And I've been using it on my hands a little bit, and I love the radiance. I don't think I've spoke about the radiance. I get up every morning and I use radiance. And now I've actually started to, since we went to convention, and I got to hear Sean speak. Let's see, I add a little bit of energy to it sometimes, especially mind as well. And I'm adding all those things together in the morning and taking them. And along with that, I go ahead and take my Life Max at the same time because it's got the green tea extract in it. So that's given me a whole lot of good energy in the morning. And my hands are looking a whole lot better than they did before. So I'm seeing a lot of really good results now. And I'm just super excited to be an associate. And I'm hoping that everybody that I know, if that's what they want their life to be, will be able to become an associate because it's so very helpful to be able to be that. We have wonderful education. We are so blessed that we have so much wonderful education out there. That is one of the most positive things. I've been in several network marketing associations before, and we had meetings and things of that nature, but they weren't nearly as educational as what we have here. So that the education and the free education is worth so much. It's just unbelievable. I mean, we don't have to pay for all of our education. So much of it comes to us for free. So that is such a blessing,
That sure
especially,
is.
yeah, our Friday night meetings, the ASEA 5. Hey, that is great because then we get to learn stuff, every Friday night for an hour, we get free education. How
Right.
much more could we ask for? So,
And speaking of what they provide for their associates and stuff, can you speak a little bit about the company and the integrity of the company and just your experience with any of the people that are with ASEA?
Well, I mean, I've dealt a lot with my my upline mainly. I briefly met Mr. Tyler Norton, so I haven't met him personally a whole lot. I spoke with him just for a moment when we were in the elevator. We actually talked about food, and so I was really excited about meeting him. And the convention was great. Leland is awesome. I mean, he helps all the time. You know, you give him a call, and if he doesn't have phone, if he doesn't call you back, it's because he doesn't have phone service. That's for sure. And Jimmy and Michelle are always there to answer questions. And it has been such a great opportunity to be involved with all the people. I've met great people. That's the fun thing about going to all the Super Saturdays and things of that nature, is because of the people and all the things that we've, that we've been able to meet, the wonderful, wonderful people we've had. So I've been able to meet awesome friends and new friends and like-minded people and people that are interested in health and growing in health and integrity. And so that's been amazing.
That's great. So there's so much more than just a network marketing company. It's a true ASEA family, and it sounds like you're really experiencing the gist of that, and that's exciting. So, well,
Yeah.
Mona, go ahead.
Being able to come to our morning meetings, what a
Yes.
blessing that is. So because then we get to find out what is going on with everybody every day, and so we get basic great motivation daily. So I really enjoyed that as well. Never had that with another company like this either.
Yeah. So
So
people
thanks
can
to
get
Terry Latham for that.
yeah, and people can get a little involved or they can get a lot of involved. There's really something for everyone here. So, okay,
Absolutely.
well, what I'd like to do, Mona, is I'd like to open it up for questions. And for those that have their costumes on, hey, let's see them. Go ahead and turn your cameras on and ask Mona questions if you have them, and we'll get those answered for you. Hi, Doria. And Doria, you're muted.
I don't have a question. It was just a great call. I love hearing your story, Mona. I hear you on the call, so it's kind of nice to see your face. And I'm wondering who Marita is, but yeah, I love the interview. It's wonderful, but I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marita, hi.
I think I'm a cat. I had twins. My twins came by already, and I was trying to hurry up and finish up as they were coming by. But Mona had a question for you. Enjoyed your sharing tonight. Do you have a lot of workshops that you do, or do you do more one-on-one individually with people, or invite them into your home or a coffee shop?
Right now, I'm actually doing one-on-ones on the telephone mainly for the most part. I'm trying to get my house organized and ready where I would like to have workshops for food. I'm trying to teach people about the importance of safe and healthy food, because there's just so much out there that's not exactly the best. And I had a whole lot of it in my own home. In fact, when I started reading labels, I would be like, oh my gosh, and I chunk it at the trash can. And it's just really disheartening. So I enjoy going to this wonderful grocery store that we have in our neighborhood called the Natural Store. And because they've got really good produce, and I try to go there often because it's the best place for us to shop. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I try to make recommendations to people for places to eat and things that they can do for their health. And so I do that even no matter where I go. If I meet somebody at the grocery store, I'll say, you see that right there? That one's better than that one. And this is why, if you want to know. So yeah, that's what I do. I do one-on-one workshops at the grocery store, but I don't get paid for those. So, but it's fun to teach people. So if someone is interested and wants to learn, I want to teach anybody that wants to learn at this point.
Well, great. Thank you.
Thanks for your costume. You look great.
Kathleen, I will ask you to come on back, our co-host. And do you have any closing comments or questions for Miss Mona?
No, I'm just very glad to have heard from Mona, and I really learned a lot about education and how important that is at the beginning to really understand what you're taking. And so to me, that was very valuable, Mona. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for having me.
All right. Are there any other questions out there? If not, I'm going to kind of wrap up. I do want to let our viewers know that this is recorded and it will be posted on our Creation Chiropractic YouTube channel. And it's also going to be shared on ASEA United, and it'll be on my personal Facebook page under Barbie Phillips. We would like to ask you to join us again in 2 weeks on November 14th at 6:30 p.m. Central for Real People, Real Stories, where we will interview another guest and see how redox is changing their lives. Until then, we want to wish everyone a great evening and have a blessed night. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, folks.